Yo, please, not Carolina, please. Okay, okay, okay. I'm good with that. Alright, let's stop it here. This is my mock draft of the top 10 picks in the 2018 NHL Entry Draft. We just got this information. Buffalo will be picking first. Carolina, with a 3% chance of winning the second overall pick, grabs the second overall pick, and the Montreal Canadiens grab themselves the third overall pick. Fourth, we'll have Ottawa. Fifth is Arizona. Sixth is Detroit. Seventh, Vancouver. Eighth is Chicago. Ninth is New York. And 10th is the Edmonton Oilers. I would have done a broader mock draft had the opportunity presented itself, but I'm really familiar with the top 10 guys that I have going here, and seeing the teams that they'll be selected by now, I think I have a good gauge on what I believe things are going to work out to come the NHL Entry Draft. So I'm just going to be doing the top 10. As I said, the top 10 teams right here. This is what we got. Here we go. For the first overall selection, obviously, Rasmus Dahlin is a Buffalo Sabre. Now, the Sabres got screwed out of the draft lottery a few years ago with Connor McDavid. They were supposed to win that draft hands down. Edmonton, my goodness, they took the league by storm when they won McDavid. But, of course, the Sabres getting themselves Jack Eichel solidified themselves as a team that has a great young core going forward. Other guys that they got, Ristolainen, Sam Reinhart, then even going back to the previous drafts, Alexander Nylander and Casey Mittelstadt. Things are looking really good for Buffalo going forward, and adding Dahlin will definitely solidify that. A Dahlin-Ristolainen pairing would be killer, and I know a lot of people will be skeptical, because what do you mean the Buffalo Sabres are close to being good and their young core is good? We said that 3 years ago, and yeah, we did. We kinda did. But Rasmus Dahlin is a completely different animal than anything the Buffalo Sabres or the NHL has ever seen before. So Buffalo, you guys finally got your first overall pick. Take care of Rasmus Dahlin. He deserves a great career, and I'm sure the Sabres will be able to grant him that. The second overall pick is the Carolina Hurricanes, and obviously I have them choosing Andrei Svechnikov. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. The Hurricanes weren't that bad this year. They were decent mediocrity right now. And with a forward core going forward with Jeff Skinner, Aho, Teravainen, Lindholm, Rask. Then in the AHL they got Zykov, and then for prospects they got Nekas as well. An absolutely fantastic forward core going forward for the Hurricanes. It's scary to think how good they're going to be come the prime years of Aho, Lindholm, and Svechnikov. He will fit right in with this young core of forwards that they're bringing in. Not to mention, their D-core is really good as well. Looking forward, guys like Slavin, Hanifin, Justin Falk, Pesci, and then you got Jake Bean coming up as well. The Hurricanes, they absolutely were a team that did not necessarily need a top 3 pick, but going forward, I can see them totally becoming the next Winnipeg sort of team. The Hurricanes, my god, you guys are fantastic with your luck. And Andrei Svechnikov is going to come in, be an absolute dominant force next season, I guarantee it. I'm scared of Hurricanes. I'm scared of them right now. Then, with the third overall pick for the Montreal Canadiens, I have Filip Zadina. What a surprise. Dahlin, Svechnikov, Zadina, 1, 2, 3. Very, very surprising. Zadina is the guy who will absolutely light a fire underneath the Montreal Canadiens offense. They won't need to rely on guys like Brendan Gallagher and Pacioretty no more, because Zadina coming in will be that sniper that will be able to just score goals at will. And Zadina can do that. He's shown to everybody that he's capable of just coming right in, taking a snapshot on the rush, in the circles, and he's able to score every time. And Montreal fans, you guys are going to be seeing Zadina in action next season as well. I guarantee it. He's NHL ready right now, and Zadina playing alongside of these guys in Montreal, it's looking a little bit better, let's face it. Montreal hasn't really been in the best of positions in the past few months, but Zadina will definitely help going forward. Moving over to the teams that didn't win draft lotteries, for the fourth overall selection, we have ourselves the Ottawa Senators. And the Ottawa Senators, in this position, I have them taking Adam Boqvist. They're not going to re-sign Karlsson. Karlsson is not going to be a Senator for long. So what do they need to do? They need to grab themselves a Swedish defenseman with the offensive capabilities of an Erik Karlsson. Who else is that? Adam Boqvist. Obviously, them losing out on Karlsson really does make me think that they're going to choose Boqvist because he's literally the same kind of player, an offensive defenseman, Swedish phenom. The only difference is Boqvist's defense is definitely not up to par with Erik Karlsson. But seeing as Boqvist's offensive abilities have been described to be similar to Karlsson's, I can totally understand the Ottawa Senators taking him at 4th overall. That's what I predict. Book it. I don't think Boqvist is going to make the NHL right away, but the Ottawa Senators, they want themselves another Swedish defenseman. And I truly think they got it in Adam Boqvist. Moving over to 5th overall, the Arizona Coyotes. I have them here taking Evan Bouchard. Now, Bouchard is not necessarily a player that I want for the Canucks. I made a video about Bouchard. I don't really think he's worth all the hype, but I can totally see the Arizona Coyotes taking him at 5th overall. Why? Because the Coyotes got themselves a good offensive core already. Guys like Perlini, Strome, Clayton Keller, all these forwards will help contribute to their forward core going forward. But in terms of defense, Oliver Ekman-Larsson you got, who I don't really know if he's that secure anymore, let's be honest here. You got Jake Chychrun, who's going to be really good as well, and other than that, who else? So I think Evan Bouchard addresses a need that the Arizona Coyotes have on defense, and the fact that Evan Bouchard was a guy who led the OHL in points as a defender in his draft year, it really does drive up his hype a little bit, and I think it's enough for the Arizona Coyotes to say, yep, we want an offensive defenseman like you. An absolute quarterback on that power play unit Evan Bouchard can be. I think he will provide great things for the Arizona Coyotes. 6th overall is up next. Detroit Red Wings are on the clock, and I think they're going to be choosing Quinn Hughes. Because, let's face it, Quinn Hughes is a Michigan boy. University of Michigan homegrown Wolverines right here, and the Detroit Red Wings will definitely, in my opinion, take a chance on Hughes, because he's a hometown kid at heart, man. He's playing for the Michigan Wolverines. He's a small, quick, nimble defenseman, the best skater in the draft by some people's standards, and the Detroit Red Wings don't have any young defensemen other than Oulet, who's 26, and then if you look at their farm team, they got themselves Joe Hicketts, who's 22, and Sarah Jarvie, who's also 21. Other than that, the Red Wings got no young defenders. They need defense, and Quinn Hughes is a perfect fit, seeing as he is such a hot fireball of a player. Hughes playing alongside of a Dylan Larkin, who, keep in mind, was also a Michigan Wolverine, would definitely spark a new generation of offense to come in Detroit. Going over to 7th overall, the Vancouver Canucks. I have here the Canucks taking Oliver Wahlstrom. And for me, it was a difficult decision whether or not to say that we're taking Wahlstrom or Tkachuk. Because Tkachuk is the other guy who I actually haven't mentioned yet. He could easily as well go to guys like Arizona or whatever, but in this mock draft that I have, the Vancouver Canucks are taking Wahlstrom, 7th overall, because in a USHL season where he beat out many really good players today, like Kyle Connor, Brock Besser, Eli Tolvanen, in a season where his numbers were comparable to that of Jack Eichel and Austin Matthews, Oliver Wahlstrom is a guy who could definitely establish himself as one of the better players of this draft. If we're going best player available, which I definitely believe the Vancouver Canucks should, we're taking Oliver Wahlstrom. If you want me to talk about him a little bit more, I made a video talking about why I want Oliver Wahlstrom for the Vancouver Canucks. You can check that out. It'll probably be in the related videos somewhere, but the Vancouver Canucks, I feel that it would be a great decision to take Oliver Wahlstrom, an offensive phenom, a guy who can play on the center and the right wing. If Elias Pettersson doesn't choose the center or the right wing, Oliver Wahlstrom could be there and choose the other option, seeing as they're both center right wing players. Going over to 8th overall, the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, this is where I have things kind of weird. I have the Chicago Blackhawks taking Brady Tkachuk at 8th overall. He had to go eventually, right? There's no way he was slipping out of the top 10. Brady Tkachuk is a Blackhawk in my opinion. And if you wanted to talk about why I chose Wahlstrom for the Canucks over Tkachuk, the way I feel about things is Tkachuk is the safer pick. I can totally see a stronger, established NHLer out of Tkachuk, and I think Tkachuk is going to play in the NHL next season. But I think that Wahlstrom has the higher ceiling. And in terms of the capabilities and being able to reach that ceiling, I think Wahlstrom is better than Tkachuk. That's it, plain and simple. But Tkachuk, a player who could definitely make an impact just as his brother Matthew did, stepping into the NHL right away after getting drafted, I think he'll do that with the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are in a great position right now. Nick Schmaltz, DeBrincat, they recently signed Cahoon from Germany, and if they grab themselves Tkachuk, it would be an entirely new era of offense going forward. And they still got guys like Patrick Kane, Hinostroza, then Brandon Saad too. But other than that, I think the Blackhawks would be taking a gem of a player towards their organization if they selected Brady Tkachuk. Moving over to 9th overall, the New York Rangers, I have them taking Noah Dobson. And Dobson is a guy from the QMJHL, a 6'3" defenseman, a right-handed defenseman, mind you, and there isn't really anything special about Dobson's game. He's just a two-way guy who does his job well. And other than that, I think that the New York Rangers would really be blessed to get the guarantee of a player within Dobson. Because Dobson is just like Tkachuk in my mind. A safe player. A player who you can take and not be insecure about him making the NHL in the future. Because I don't see a bust coming out of Dobson. It's just that his ceiling isn't really that high in my opinion, which is why I have him going around this range. But in terms of players that will be guaranteed to make an impact at the NHL level, I think Dobson is one of those, and I see the Rangers taking a chance on him definitely. Seeing as their defensive core, they really do need a little bit more support than that. I know Sean Day is supposed to be the next best thing, but he hasn't really shown readiness just yet. So getting Dobson on that right side would really help them going forward. And finally, with the 10th overall selection, the Edmonton Oilers are going to select Rasmus Dahlin. Nope, they didn't get 1st overall, they got 10th. Fantastic work, NHL, by the way. I have the Edmonton Oilers taking Ty Smith at 10th overall. And the reason for that is, the Oilers have too many forwards, man. That's it. That's it. McDavid, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, Tyler Benson. The Oilers got so many forwards, I think they do need to choose a defenseman this time. Don't get me wrong, I like Adam Larsson, and I like Oscar Klefbom. But Ty Smith is up there, man, and he's a defenseman that could definitely help the Oilers. And, I mean, Ty Smith, he's 5'11", he's not necessarily the biggest, he's a left-handed defenseman from Spokane, but he would definitely help them out. 73 points in 69 games for the Spokane Chiefs. Ty Smith is an offensive defenseman at heart. And if you got guys like McDavid, Draisaitl, and all these other young forwards who can score points, why would you not want a Ty Smith feeding the puck up to them? Because you can grab yourself another forward, sure, you can grab yourself Joe Veleno or Farabee, that's fine. But Ty Smith would be great for the Oilers. And I see them taking him at 10th overall. So there you have it, folks. This is my mock draft, the top 10 picks in the NHL Entry Draft in 2018, starting things off with the top 3 guys who won the lotteries just a few minutes ago, Buffalo, Montreal, Carolina, and the rest of them spreading themselves out throughout the 10 range. This is what I have for the mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Plus, not just rolls like that, just saying gaming, and bye.